Hey guys, it's me. Um, it is Friday, April 7th, 2017. Um, Today I think I'm going to talk about my poetry that I've been writing. I'm tired because I went to bed at like 4 and my body woke up early, so I was reading a series called the Slam series. The first book in the series is called Slammed, and then the second book is called Point of Retreat, and I don't really know what the third one is called, so yeah. Anyways, it's about slam poetry, and I've been trying to write some, and they're good poems, but like with slam poetry, you have to really get into it. Now there's a fucking train and I'm talking. With slam poetry, you really have to get into it with like emotions and stuff, because that's what it's all about. So the one I wrote the other day, it's a really deep poem for me, and I read it to my therapist, and like after I read it and later on that day, what I wrote about, I realized that I've never been able to process it. And it hit hard for me because it's like, this is why I had all the issues I had when I was growing up because of all that. And it was never talked about in my family. It wasn't made a big deal. And it should have been, because it affected me a lot. And I don't think my parents understand that. And that's why I hate when people are like, you had a good life, your parents are awesome. You don't know half the shit that happened in my household. So don't sit there and say that my parents are great, that my life was great. Nobody knows a lot of the shit that happened. I already got emotional. I've been holding this shit in because after I got home the other day from my appointment, I was sitting there realizing that I never got to process that. It was never talked about in my family. It was pushed off to the side like it was no big deal. I always got blamed that I was just misbehaving and then I was acting out. I'll just read the poem because you'll fucking know. Okay. I'm gonna try this. Don't judge me either, okay? Growing up, being the youngest out of 3 was pretty rough on me. 12 and 13 years apart was a bigger difference than I wanted it to be. Life was rough. My dad was abusive to not just me, but the other 3. My oldest sister moved out when I was just 5 years young. My middle sister moved out when I was around 9 years young. Instead of the other 3, it was now mostly me being blamed for things around me, even if it wasn't me. Kelsey, you're the reason I want to kill myself. You're the reason your mom and I fight. But why was it me? Was it because I was a pain in the ass? Growing up, being the youngest out of 3 meant seeing things I didn't want to see, seeing things that weren't made for me. I was just 5 years young when we went into the ditch. Just 6 years young when he stumbled down the stairs. I was so scared it was all those damn pills. Growing up, being the youngest out of 3 meant I was the last one to leave. Life was a struggle. 18 years of abuse, addiction, hospitals, self-harm, and suicide attempts is now over. Both of us are in a better place. I now have scars, and you have faith. You don't seem bothered by your mistakes, but hey, that's okay. I'm away from you, and that's all that matters. There's so much more I could have put in that poem. But like, I don't even know why I wrote a poem about my dad. Oops, I just said my dad. I don't know. I don't really know why I wrote it. I don't know. It's so confusing. Like, my parents never said that my dad had an addiction. And I guess I never really thought of it as an addiction. But it was. And I'm realizing that now. Like, okay, my dad was a recovering alcoholic. He stopped drinking when I was like 3 months old, right? And then when I was like 4 or 5, he started abusing prescriptions. So he was addicted to prescriptions like painkillers and stuff. And they always say that you replace one addiction with another, but that time from when I was 3 months old to 4 or 5 years old, what did he do then? Like, was there another addiction that I'm not getting told about? Because they always say, you know, you replace one addiction with another. But I had a drug addict as a parent. I'm realizing that nothing was okay when I was younger, and that wasn't normal. I never brought it up to anybody because my parents played it off as it was okay. And I should have told somebody because, are you kidding me right now? I should have told somebody about it. Where? I should have told somebody about it because it affected me so much. And whenever I bring up stuff that they did and how it affected me and how, like, they never take responsibility for what they have done, and it's like, you guys, they're a big reason why I struggled. And it still affects me to this fucking day. Well, with my dad's addictions. I was only 5 years old when me and him got into a car accident, coming home from kindergarten. Because he was on his fucking little drugs, his fucking pills. I remember that day so clearly, like it was yesterday. No, I never talk about that though. Probably because I got blown off. Or probably because it was not made out to be a big fucking deal. So I never made it out to be a big fucking deal. Even though it fucking eats me up inside. Okay, that's it. That's one of the slam poems I wrote. I have more, but I'm not gonna read those because this video is almost 9 minutes long. Alright, bye.